The Carcano model 1891 Troupe Special Carbine. I finally acquired a Troupe Special in the first variation in the original configuration of the 1891 series of rifles. I did, in the rest of my series I had different parts. I don't know what part this is. I kind of took a break. I just picked this up last week. I finally found an example that is still with the hardware configured originally like the first variations. So the only thing different between this and the other Troupe Specials is how the bayonet, there's a special bayonet that locks onto this, and it's unusual. It goes on and then rotates on to the bayonet stud. Where most of them usually just plug straight on. This one kind of rocked over. When we look at it, we'll take a look at it. The bayonets are rare and unusual. I've seen a photograph of the handle where they show how it locks on. So they're hard to find, the bayonets themselves. And then another thing that's confusing about this model is when I said the original configuration, as these guns were reworked and re-arsenaled, the stock and hardware up in this part may be changed to like a the 1928, sorry about that, 1928 Troupe Special hardware, which is a little bit different. And I have my model 91 28 down here, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison to make it clearer. But in general, you know, it is a Carcano action, bent bolt like all the carbines. The rear sight is the standard rear sight, the older style, the stock, and the only difference in this is up here on this end. It has a cleaning rod other than the buttstock like the cavalry model. So when you're buying one of these, that's something to always check. Make sure your Troupe Special doesn't have a butt plate with a trap door in it, because it isn't supposed to. It's supposed to have a little cleaning rod up here. And so basically that's kind of the difference. I wish I had all the different variations so I can do them side by side, but we're going to cover this one here, and now we'll take a look at it next to the model 9128. All right, as we look at the guns from the top, this is the model 91, this is the 9128, I believe. I hope I got the variation right. Troupe Special. So the receiver, action, all of that stuff, operating, loading, ammunition, all the same. Now the rear sights are the old style, and both of them, as you can see, go down at 6, so it's 500 meters, I guess, is the battle sight. And that's your standard older style rear carbine sight. They both have the flats on the rear of the barrel, and you can see on that one 1908 Resca and the serial number. So that's the rear sight. There's no difference at all. And then when you go up on the hand guards, it starts to where you get into where your hand guard's different. The older model has a different way of locking into that front band. This second band, you have like the bayonet lug band and a second band on the 9128, where that doesn't exist on the actual 91. Okay, now we'll go look at that, configure the front bands in that. Okay, here we have them. We have the 91 up top and the 91 28 down here. As you can see, like I said, you have a barrel band and retaining spring, and then this other band with the bayonet lug. And like I said, you notice the bayonet lug, the bayonet slides straight on. Where The original variation had one barrel band or cap where your sling was mounted in the lower end there. So it was one big assembly, cleaning rod like the other, and then it kind of locks in the tab there, holds the handguard in place. And your bayonet lug, like I said, as you can see, it's this odd thing that it twists around the bayonet, twists onto that. So it would come and then lock down on sideways onto that. Also, on this barrel, there's this little tab here on the barrel itself, and that's right into the barrel. That has something to do with steadying or attaching to the bayonet, whereas you see it is not on this rifle here. Also, the front sight is permanently attached. You can't adjust it for the drift. It's one solid piece on there. See how that's put on there? Let me rotate it around. It's soldered right on. There isn't a little dovetail you can drift on. Okay, somebody must have had a bayonet on this at one time. Where after that variation, you see the barrel's probably turned down, and then this ring is placed on there. And then your front sight blade is dovetailed in there and can be drifted. See the dovetail on both sides? So the way they mounted the front sight is different also. I believe this is turned back, and then this ring with the base is lined up and then would be welded, or I mean soldered, steel soldered on. You know, they both had the little cleaning rod. Where this does not have a little ring base, this is just a solid piece that is also, these things are soldered on to the barrel. Then, you know, under the bluing you can't really see where that is, but that is two things attached permanently to the barrel, where this is the one kind of standard ring you see on all the later variations, the standard front sight. So this one you can adjust for windage, this one you can't. Fortunately, it does shoot pretty straight at close range. So when you get out farther, you get a little drift. But that's your basic variation, and that's the difference between the first version, and then you could say that's the second version of the Troupe Special. The 24 was a cut-down rifle. We don't have one, you know, we can compare in there to see. And so that's about it. Like I said, you can see all of the differences are up in the front part. Basically hand guards, barrel bands, and that, and bayonet mounting system. Now, what is confusing also is you will find these older dated rifles that have been reworked, and they will still have these little tab down there in the sight, but they will be set in the stock like this. This was probably done later on years when the guns were in service. They were just retrofitted with a newer version of the stock and bands. Okay, sorry about that. One of the neighbors had a fit, had to go out and see what it was. Okay, so that's about it for this variation. Pretty interesting. Collections are getting there. I only have a few more examples to get, and we're going to go out. I already shot this one. We're going to go out and try to shoot them again. And when I do the videos on sight pictures and the sights themselves, we'll work some more with it.